Joining us now, MSNBC senior Capitol Hill correspondent Ali Vitale, MSNBC senior investigative correspondent Carol Leonnig. Peter Baker is the New York Times chief White House correspondent and an MSNBC political analyst. Anthony Coley is here with me. He's former director of the Office of Public Affairs at the Biden DOJ and an MSNBC political analyst. Ali, this hearing got really combative, to say the least. What are your big takeaways?
It got really combative, and frankly, a lot of the fiery moments that I was anticipating, I wasn't anticipating until a few more Democrats down the line. Folks like Adam Schiff, who haven't even done their questioning of the Attorney General yet. That's an exchange that I know White House officials and congressional sources of mine alike are watching quite closely, just given the role that Schiff has played in the Trump ecosystem as someone who is the subject of many barbs, but also threats of investigation from this Department of Justice. And so we are still waiting for what we expected to be some of the more contentious lines here. That being said, it does seem like the Attorney General came armed and ready with retorts for Democratic senators. You'll see in most of the conversations that she's had with them, whether it was Sheldon Whitehouse or Senator Blumenthal, Senator Klobuchar, or even most recently Senator Mazie Hirono, Bondi, instead of responding to the questions substantively, fired back with her own attacks, clearly having researched pain points in each of these Democratic senators' bios. I think that, to me, is the most striking thing, is the tone and tenor of the responses from the head of the Department of Justice. It kind of tracks, Chris, with the way that we've heard other cabinet officials come and testify, not just before this committee, but before other committees on Capitol Hill, recognizing that they know this president loves to see them stand up for the Trump administration agenda, and knowing that there's no backlash to being, we'll say, partisan in their responses, because the performing for an audience of one, as they so often are up here, is one of the key points to keeping your job as a cabinet secretary in the Trump era. I will say that Senator Kennedy on the Republican side is questioning Bondi right now, and he was someone that I was intrigued by, just because a few weeks ago, when the FBI director Kash Patel was here, Kennedy questioned him about needing to be more transparent on the Epstein files. I'm wondering if Kennedy does that here again with Bondi. It would make sense. He's someone who has said that the administration is just going to have to answer more questions than they're doing right now. But so far, he hasn't touched on that issue yet. That's something I'm continuing to listen for.
Well, I want you to continue to listen to that and let us know, raise your hand for the control room if there's something that we should know about. Peter, look, I think tone and tenor are key here, right? And call Pam Bondi what you will, contentious, prickly, combative, dismissive. She made it clear that she was only going to answer what she wanted to answer, and in many cases tried to turn the tables on the Democrats. Is there any doubt in your mind about who her target audience is?
No, obviously not. No, I've watched a lot of these hearings over the last almost 40 years, and it's very unusual, if not unprecedented, until this administration, to hear people of this level, cabinet secretary, treat members of the United States Senate with such disdain and such partisan, attacks and so forth. It doesn't mean that the other people who have testified have always enjoyed it. Obviously, these hearings are partisan. You usually have the party in power try to ask softball questions. The party out of power is asking tough questions. But there's usually a sense that the witness, the cabinet secretary there, has to respond on some level, even if it's a tough question. She's looking at them with all the disdain that Trump feels towards Democrats, and that's who she's appealing to.
So, Anthony, you wrote an op-ed for MSNBC about this, and you said, to be effective, Democrats must frame this historic moment clearly, tell compelling stories linking President Donald Trump's corruption to the GOP leaders enabling it, and show the public why it threatens the rule of law, public safety, and their civil rights. How are they doing so far?
Well, Democrats are doing okay, but what really bothers me here are two things, right? It's the Attorney General herself, who, quite frankly, Chris, is masquerading as Attorney General. At her core, she is a partisan political operative, and that's what we see here today, right? You heard Peter Baker talk about disdain that she is showing for members of the committee. So that's the first thing. The second thing I would say here is what's really disturbing to me is there was once a time when Republicans and Democrats would both call out excesses of the executive branch. I think about the U.S. Attorney scandal back in 2006, 2007. You remember that? And during that scandal, you had people who were still on this committee, people like John Cornyn, who called that scandal deplorable. This happened in the Bush administration. Lindsey Graham was also vocal during that period of time. We don't see that same type of bipartisan outrage now. And also Watergate. And what's really interesting about then and now with regard to Watergate is that this moment, Chris, is worse than Watergate.
You think so?
I absolutely do. Now, I'll tell you why. Because there were people around President Nixon at the time who resisted his worst instincts. We're talking about a bipartisan delegation of congressional leadership who marched down to the White House and told him that what he was doing with regard to an enemies list is wrong. You had an attorney general and others at the Justice Department who resigned as opposed to carrying out President Nixon's vindictive political orders. We do not have that in this administration. That's why this moment, this attorney general is worse than White House, is worse than Watergate.